So, welcome back. As you can see, we have Masaki Miyagawa back, and we are going to talk about gold, silver, crypto. And no, don't worry if you're not familiar with crypto, neither am I. And that is why I will ask a lot of dumb questions. So, Masaki, welcome.
Hey,
Before
Judith.
we before we dive into our subject, how do you like 2026 so far? I mean, we are a couple of days in. Uh, Trump kidnaps Maduro and his wife attacks.
Well, personally, I uh I did feel crossing over into New Year, the first few days. Personally, I do feel there's a new energy,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be running full steam ahead on the Aries energy this year. But no doubt, this is a reset year, sort of like 2020 was the COVID reset. This is a economic reset. So I would expect by summer there will be riots all over the world, and especially in America because it's 250 years the Pluto return,
Mm,
and you
mm.
know, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's gonna be something. Especially we were talking right before you started about the situation in Germany, and we don't get much news about Europe other than the migrants. That's like a constant theme, but I had to go look about the blackout in Berlin because there is nothing, at least on my feed. I'm getting nothing about that, but I heard it was going on, so I looked it up. And I think people in Europe, I think you guys are about 10 years ahead of what's happening here. But it's a similar trend. I think people in North America and Europe still do not comprehend the situation we're in because they're thinking, oh, we're the first world. It can't happen here. It's happening. And- but but the difference is when the economic factor becomes so large that you can't ignore it, then it becomes real. And I think it's going to hit this year. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We have 22 companies per day that are shutting down.
Wow.
Hmm.
Well, I met a young German guy. I think I mentioned him last time. He's first generation, and he's like the face of young Germany, right? He's part white German, part Arab, and part Somali. So he checks all the boxes, right? And I met him when he was in Japan on they have a working holiday visa. So many people from like Australia, United States, Canada, Europe, they can work in Japan for a year with this. It's very easy to get, and he really loves it in Japan. And he was telling me he has relatives in like Somali relatives in London and in Sweden. And he was telling me that he's telling his relatives in Europe, I think you should think about leaving Europe. This is a guy that he's the first generation in Germany.
Mm.
And he's like very responsible and sharp. I had good conversations with him. But he sees so some of the smarter immigrants, like the migrants that grew up in Europe, they're looking around and they're noticing. So that should tell you something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
definitely.
Japan's not in the greatest economic shape, but I think it's even though we talked about they're having their migrant problems, but it's nowhere close to Europe
Mm,
or America or Canada, you know.
yeah, definitely. So, um, yeah, let's start at the beginning. Many moons ago, all the rage was fiat money, fiat money, fiat money. So, in essentially meaning money that is not backed by anything except for the belief, our belief that it is worth something, that it has some value. So, um, then when Bitcoin came along, um, yeah, people were a little bit split about it. But isn't that essentially fiat money as well? It is not backed by anything, as far as I can tell.
Hmm. I think because we really don't know who Satoshi is, right? It's a
Yeah, yeah.
mysterious. Even if you look at the natal chart of Bitcoin, it's obscured. It's kind of like you don't know where it came from. Uh, so wherever it came from, I think for cryptocurrency as a sector and an industry, it's more like a PR and a test case, right? What I see happening is the going forward, the successful cryptos, although Bitcoin will be around, the successful cryptos will be the ones involved in finance, specifically tokenization, uh, contract settling, and banking, because that has a real use case. Um, but Bitcoin was sort of like I was a big Dogecoin fan, right?
Mhm.
And Dogecoin, which I love Dogecoin, but I'll be honest, some people said Dogecoin was created by the government, and I doused it, and I got yes. So Dogecoin was made as um basically as a promotion because it doesn't seem so strange now, but even let's say in 2017, 2018, 2019, the real big 2017 had a pretty good bull run, but I would say where it really broke into the public is it was 2020, no, it's 2021. It was also because the FTX, they were doing a lot of money laundering. So that pushed a lot of liquidity, a lot of money into the sector. But before that, you really had to like proselytize or promote cryptos. And Dogecoin was a was perfect for that because it had the meme quality. It was basically the first meme coin. The most well known, right? It had the cute dog on it, and they did a lot of good things with charity cases and stuff like that. But that's pretty much gone now. It's all about the. Of course, it's cryptocurrency, so it's going to be about money. But it's all about money. There's no. It's cutthroat. I see. I look around and I don't see that anymore, even in the Dogecoin community, where it's community based, right?
Mm.
Now it's all private equity like BlackRock running and everything. So that really changes the character and the market. It was probably always manipulated to some extent, but this was one of the worst years for crypto. Oh, last year, 2025 was one of the worst years for crypto. I didn't see that coming, so I would put that as a fail mark. Um, I don't know I don't know about the predictions I made. I can't remember, but I was expecting it to do fairly well.
I-
And this year, it's going to be really bad.
Okay.
I think we have the double eclipse. It's like February 17th and March 3rd. And also the real New Year, Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year, starts in mid-February. So I think with the eclipses and then the start of the real new cycle, uh, that is going to trigger the collapse of or the popping of the AI bubble, and that's going to take everything down with it. Um, and so if you're talking about crypto, we're in January now. It should have a good run for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then after that, I would be out. It'll probably bottom in the third quarter in the fall, and then it might have a good December. But there's a lot of people publicly saying, "Oh, this is it," because if you look at the chart, it start last year started with Trump's meme coin, the Trump shitcoin, and he made $9 billion, $9 billion, mostly from his shitcoin, which so
What
that
is
that that, that started the trend
going?
of last year. Is like the retail or the public, they just got butt raped all through the year. This is a chart of crypto last year. So they
What?
said,
Excuse me, what did you call it? Shitcoin?
"Oh, those are it's a nickname for the meme coins."
Ah, oh, okay. Hmm.
Uh-huh. Because the Trump coin, it's like Dogecoin. It had no purpose other than it's called Trump coin, right? And then they were like, "Oh wow, we made so much money. We got to do another one." So then they pushed out Melania coin, and they're both basically worthless now. They didn't go to zero, but if you look at how high it went and where it is now, um, basically private equity, the Black Rocks and the crypto exchanges like Binance, the banks and investment funds, they have a large enough position now where they can manipulate the market to an extent that has never been seen before. Uh, so there's a lot of people thinking, finally, and you could look at the charts and say, it looks like finally the altcoins will run because the sequence is Bitcoin runs first, and then when it tops out, then the altcoins, the smaller coins like Ethereum and the banking coins will run after that. And then the last coins to run before it finally dumps are the meme coins, right? Except if you look at the astrology of this year, I think I think we got like a month and a half at most. And when we get into late February and March, that's when the crash is going to start. And you can look at the commodities, uh, gold and silver, and even copper. It's really running right now. Silver was the best performing financial asset last year.
Hmm.
And really, the silver run only really started in the summer and then accelerated in November and December because it's going in a parabolic curve. So I think this year is going to be the year of silver. Um, there's many reasons why, but basically they've printed too much money, so that can inflate the price a lot. The supply of physical silver has been suppressed artificially for decades. The the deficit is about 5 years of mined supply. So 5 years the open demand, open interest is short. And part of the manipulation was they have more paper silver
Mhm.
than physical silver. So I think the ratio is something like 370 to 1. So there's 370 paper ounces to one actual physical ounce for delivery, right? So part of this story is basically you only see this at the end of a financial system.
Yeah.
That's why they're pouring into gold and silver, and the public isn't even in yet. So I don't know what the lowest price for silver was last year, but I think it was around 30, $35 an ounce, and it ran up to 80, low 80s, $80. So it more than doubled, right? But the paper price is only reflected in this artificial COMEX LBMA market. The COMEX is based in Chicago. It's the Commodities Exchange of America, and LBMA is the London banks. So between those two, um, the price is it's much lower than the emerging king of the markets, which is China. Shanghai, they have a metals exchange, and it's been as much as like $10 over the Western price. That's highly unusual. They should be relatively close in price. But again, the Western institutions are artificially keeping the price low. Why? It's because they need time to unwind these bad positions because they sold the silver at a lower price. Now the price ran up so much that they have to buy it back. So if somebody asks for delivery, they can hand over the physical silver, right? But the results of this, when you have let's say it's $70 on the COMEX and it's $80 in Shanghai, silver is going to start to flow east. So it's I would say it's really damaging the financial position of America. But the bankers cover their ass.
Can
Yeah.
can you remember that was early 2000s when Max Kaiser had this, yeah, he started it, crash JP Morgan buy silver. Can you
Yeah,
remember?
well, I think he's some kind of agent because he had such a large
Yeah, yeah,
position in Bitcoin. But hey, everybody, there's a job for everybody. So
yeah,
you hear the story? Supposedly, he gave Alex Jones a laptop with I don't know what number, with like 10,000 Bitcoin, and Alex Jones supposedly lost it. Yeah, sure. I don't think Alex is that stupid, but
yeah.
for tax purposes, he lost it. Oh, interesting story. Uh, the price of silver had been going up from summer last year, but it really hit a breaking point during Thanksgiving weekend here in America. And the COMEX, they closed because they said there was some computer glitch. There was no glitch. The problem was the price was running up too fast, and their positions were getting more and more in the red. They were underwater in their positions, so they closed the market, right? That same weekend, JP Morgan's broker desk for metals moved their office to Singapore. Why? Because they want to be closer to the action. Because it's not a complete shift yet, but that was a signal that Asia and basically China will set the commodity prices from here on out. And I don't know if this it was the same weekend, but it was shortly thereafter. Samsung executives they flew on a private plane to Mexico and personally had meetings with mining executives to secure 2 years of silver supply above spot price because silver has many applications in industry,
Hmm.
especially important for what's coming is military applications because there are chips and so forth. They may use a minute amount of silver, but you need it. Um, and I heard certain missiles, like cruise missiles, can use large amounts of silver. Uh, one cruise missile can use like 15 kilos of silver. And when that blows up, it's pretty hard to recover that silver, but you need it, right? So there's an industrial use case. There's medical use cases because silver is a natural antibiotic.
Hmm.
You know, here in America, in that Western expansion cowboy period, they used to put a silver coin in their water supplies. Like they had like a barrel of water. They used to put a silver coin in there because it would keep the water fresh. It's antibiotic, right? Um, Also, there's of course the investment case. So, basically, like you talked about, the fiat system is ending,
Hmm.
where it's like, but America's we had the gold standard, and then we went to where sovereign nations dealt in gold and silver, but you couldn't redeem your dollars for the equivalent gold or silver piece, right? You used to be able to get um it's a 1 ounce. I think it was like priced at like 25 or $50 at the time when the paper currency was connected to gold and silver. Then they said, no, for trade settlement with countries, we'll do that, but no longer to the common person. That was under FDR in the 30s, 1930s. And then Kennedy, he started minting uh, silver coins, right? Well, he got killed and they ended that after a couple of years. And then you came to the 1970s and they totally delinked the US dollar from any backing, but they replaced the gold and silver backing with the petrodollar. They made a
Hmm.
deal with Saudi Arabia. Well, that ended at least a year ago. So now it's completely unbacked. It's pure fiat, right?
Hmm.
Well, that's coming to an end. So the new economic system, it's it's a mix of mercantilism, which was basically the age of colonialism, imperialism. The countries had gold and silver and whatever commodities that you could. That was the money. That was the backing, right? Because it's real tangible and accepted by every nation on the planet. So we're going back to that, and it really benefits the BRICS countries because they're commodities countries. Um, China doesn't have much farmland, but they control all the rare earth minerals, and they also control the processing plants. So even if America was to take Greenland or Venezuela has a lot of resources too. I think
Yeah.
I read they had at this point they have $1 trillion of silver, and that's going to be worth more because that's only at $80, right? So even if America was to find the rare earth minerals, we don't have the processing plants to process it. It's very toxic, certain of these minerals, and especially the like magnets, high-powered magnets that are used a lot in they're used in the military, in AI and so forth. It's basically China controls that market. They control the raw ore and they control the processing plants, right? And then there's Brazil and South Africa and so these countries are commodity heavy countries. The the West are great at paper shell games. Basically, London only exists as a money laundering center.
You mean the city of London?
The city of London.
Mm.
I mean, what else do they produce? I mean,
Yeah.
they don't even produce tea. They they import that. They pretty much only produce migrants and I guess some electronic music, but they don't produce anything else. In that way, America, even though it's a paper empire, it's such a vast country. We have a lot of resources here, so in that way, we're more secure than Europe. But we don't have any of the production anymore, and uh, it's been many decades that America has been slowly giving away its imperial rights. Like we still maintain dominance, but look at Jimmy Carter. It was either late 70s or it was around then because he was out by 1980. Reagan came in. He signed away the Panama Canal. America had perpetual rights to the Panama Canal. We made Panama. We stole it. We stole it away from Colombia. It used to be Colombia, and then they made a deal with elites in what was to be Panama. They built the canal and they brought it up to first world standard because there's a lot of malaria. It was basically it was a nothing swamp, right? That's why Colombia didn't really fight back over like who wants the Panama, right? You've heard about the Darien Gap, right? Where it's really treacherous and the migrants make their way up to North America. Well, all of Panama was like the Darien Gap, right? But now you have Panama City and the locks and canals. So America has been signing away a lot of its dominance over uh, many sectors for decades. Now they're trying to race and catch up to like 10, 20 years of China taking over these areas. And I would say that the World War is actually an economic Cold War between America and Israel and China.
Mm.
Russia's involved, but it's mainly China. The Trump tariffs, that was solely aimed at damaging China. It wasn't about anything else. And it definitely wasn't to help Americans, even though a lot of the Trumpers were saying, "Oh, we don't pay the tariffs. The
Yes,
other
you do.
countries pay the tariff." Hmm.
Of course
Then
you
then
do.
how come the prices are jumping so much, I just saw this morning a video on Instagram and these girls were complaining about how expensive makeup is. They're like, "How can a mascara be $20?" Well, it's because it's made in China. I don't know what the tariffs are, but it could be like 100% or something. So, um, it's going to be an economic Cold War. I don't think we're going to come to a World War II situation. It'll be regional wars, but we're not going to be fighting China head to head. Um, Chinese, throughout their history, they've never been excellent warriors. They've won campaigns, they have won wars, but generally Chinese are an agricultural and they're city people, basically. They're in, they're merchants. They're involved in commerce and farming, right? They they're focused. I mean, look at the sports. Individual sports, Chinese are medal winners at the Olympics, but team sports, they're horrible. You know,
Mm,
they've been importing NBA basketball players for years. They go play in China, but it's because there's no real focus on athletics. The focus is on making money, and usually that's through business or becoming a doctor or something like that. Like, yes, you can make money being an athlete, but that's way low down on on the list.
yeah.
Oh,
I would like,
how
okay.
well, how's China going to fight back? It's going to be through hybrid warfare. It'll be through cyber attacks. It'll be from cutting supply lines, like restricting rare earth minerals. Um, the drug war, like, well, Americans, they want to get high. We're not forcing you to buy the drugs. So we'll do a reverse opium war and pump you full of fentanyl. It's these sort of mm, I mean, actually, we've been at war for a long time,
Yeah,
but now it's going to another level. So I think that's what you're going to see. You may see a dramatic event at the end of this war around, I don't know, 2029 or 2030, but it's the economic war, and I do believe it's not just the West or America fighting China. At some level, this is agreed upon because it resets the entire playing board or the entire chessboard of the world, and that sets it up for the one world currency and so forth.
yeah. I have one question. When we hear the word cryptocurrency, currency, implies the thought of money.
Mhm,
But can it really act as money? Because I think it's a little bit too volatile. It is
mhm.
$3,000, $30,000. It's $50,000. Oh no, now it's $25,000. And then up, down, up, down, up, down. At some point, if you really want to be um, a competitor to other currencies, there
Mhm,
needs to be a more stable point. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Because
Well,
nobody can really work with that.
cryptocurrency, it's not a safe haven. It's a
Mm.
trading asset. Uh, but although obviously there's nothing physical backing it right now.
Yeah,
But I do believe it does have a value, but it's Aquarian. It's volatile. Uh, because we're in the Uranus and Gemini, which is like a gambling phase. It's also a scammer phase. Crypto's great for that.
mm.
It's also a time where you have clones, doubles. doppelganger kind of thing. So you could have multiple currencies, including cryptocurrency. To operate in this environment that will become more and more chaotic, you can't wear one face or one residency or one passport. It benefits you to have many bank accounts, many residencies, many passports, many currencies. I think Europe's going to see that first because the situation it's pretty dire and people will start to find ways to secure value in what they have, which is obviously not the euro. And I also think the EU may ban gold and Bitcoin
Mm,
because they don't want money leaving the eurozone. It always happens in financial crisis or wartime conditions, and Europe is facing both, that they enforce capital controls and they make it very difficult to get your money out of the country. So,
mhm,
but people, Gemini is a sign of many things. Uh, but one of them is puzzles and games and finding the loopholes. So people will find a way. Hey, if Chinese can get their money out of China, you'll be able to get your money out of Europe. They'll figure out a way. The smartest people will find a way. Um, but like I said, they're going to make the financial system more digital. So the backing of the new system will be commodities, but they'll be tokenized through crypto and they'll be on blockchain or a ledger system. So in that way, it won't be completely like Bitcoin, where it's just the value in the concept. But I wouldn't underestimate this empty air value of cryptocurrency because in Uranus and Gemini, which we just started not too long ago.
yeah, but it's now retrograde. It will settle at the end of April
Yeah.
in Gemini.
Well, this year's, like I said, this year's going to be, I think it's going to be nuclear winter for crypto. I still see the value in crypto because it's a trading asset, right? I think it could get it's pretty bad right now. Wait till the middle of this year. Wait till the fall. Like I think if you say Bitcoin, it'll be like somebody farted in the room. They'll be like, "Ew, why are you even talking about that?" And silver will be exploding. But that would be a good time to buy if you're into crypto. I think Bitcoin probably $44,000, maybe down to 20,000. Anything could happen, but it'll go way lower. And if Bitcoin falls that much, if it falls like 50, 60%, the smaller coins are going to be crushed into dust.
Mm,
So you can pick. There's known banker coins and there's quality coins out there. So those will go up probably into 2027. But if you want to have the sure thing, I would try to get silver right now.
yeah. And you
Um,
know what? Another thing that, for instance, in an emergency situation,
mhm,
yeah,
yeah,
I can see myself. You see what I have here?
hmm yeah,
It's 100 grams of silver,
hmm
and it's cut into 1 gram
Oh,
pieces.
so you can break them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Smart.
they already broke it for me and packaged it this way.
Uh-huh.
So I can see myself buying something with this. Yeah.
hmm
In case nobody wants the paper money anymore. because sometimes a whole ounce of silver might be far too much. So, but I cannot see myself buying anything in an emergency situation with crypto.
Um, well, there's
No, I mean
there,
you are in need of food. You find a market,
no,
but
I agree with you.
yeah,
But there's like I said, there's multiple I guess you have multiple wallets, you have multiple currencies. Crypto on the street, I mean, some people do it, but that's in the far minority. I would say uh you have your store value in silver. Silver you could do on the street. Although people aren't really set up for it right now, they'll catch up real quick. Uh like in crypto, it's really not doing. I don't think crypto will do anything. Like we'll have a little run in January, February, and then maybe December, but most 80% of this year it's going to be probably it was the worst asset last year and it'll be the worst asset this year. But once it picks up, I could see where you want to cash out some crypto and then you drop into some whatever they come out with. They're probably going to come out with the digital dollar or something. I'm hearing that there could be a situation also where they have an external dollar and then an internal dollar, and you can't use the domestic dollar outside of America, or many countries could be doing this two-tiered system. But yeah, it's like I'm thinking about cashing out my crypto between this month and next month,
hmm,
and then whatever's there because it's underwater right now. Whatever I have there, moving it into silver and just sitting on it. And then
yeah,
I'll wait until for the average person, it's a lot easier just to buy silver now and sit on it.
yeah.
But I,
I've
I'm
been
I
sitting on silver for many
it,
years.
it's been a long wait. It's been
Yeah.
a long wait. Uh, and then around the fall, I'll see where crypto's at, and I'll probably buy some. Because the profit potential is still there, but again, it takes a certain kind of person because uh, I've consulted people on crypto, and most people they're so green, and it at 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 the most simple, it's just going to let's say it's Coinbase, the most popular site. Although I like Kraken because Coinbase is I think crypto is all government, but Coinbase is the worst. That's like government run, you know? At the most simple, it's buy and sell. You just click on there, right? But once you get beyond that, it can get very technical. And most people in general, even stocks or even something as simple as it's gold and silver, go buy it, they find it difficult, you know? And so with crypto, uh I think you need at least a couple years. It's even better if you've seen one or two cycles, which would be 8 years, Because uh I look at them and I say, wow, that's where I was in like 2017, you know? And you could still lose your ass even if you know what you're doing. What if you don't know what you're doing?